Welcome to the Press for Conversation podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Layback Corey. I got my co-host, CG.
Yeah.
We got a very special guy in today. He's a great singer. He's an up-and-comer singer coming here from Detroit. My main man, K.E.N. What's up?
Hello.
So, K.E.N., what's going on, man?
Well, actually trying to get this project pushed as much as I possibly can. It's my first, I guess you can say in the music world, it's your first baby. Okay. So it's one of the things that you just want to see do well, and something that's been in my soul and in my spirit to do it for a very, very long time. And literally for all my life, as far back as I can remember. And having the opportunity now, I released it November, which was my birthday, actually.
Okay. And it's actually called The Project Love, correct?
The Project Love, yep.
Okay. Well, I want to play a song off the Project Love EP called 90s Vibe.
Go right ahead.
All righty.
That was an ad.
Yeah, I know. It always do that. Sorry, y'all. We about to get started right now.
Brooklyn Beats, baby. Say what?
The way we vibe is so amazing. Looking in your eyes, I see myself. Falling for love really ain't so bad, especially since I found your soul. So let's dance in love. Come on, vibe with us. Make it beautiful till the morning comes. We don't know where we're going, just gonna dance in the moment. And if you want,
Yo, sweet. Got the vocals down pat.
All right.
I like the vibe. It's
That was
sweet.
good. So,
Yeah.
what made you come up with that record?
So literally when we went into the studio, I didn't have anything sketched out at the time. I like to build music from scratch. I like it to be a moment and time. Actually, Sam Watson and Brooklyn Beats produced this whole album with
Sam
me.
Watson.
So when we get in the studio, this was actually the first record that I wrote and that we made the beat to together. So we got in the studio. I just said, listen, I hear something that I want people to be able to dance in love with and to be able to just enjoy it. And when the chorus comes in, you hear the dance part that comes in when the beat drops.
Exactly.
But literally, we built it from scratch, like we built every song from scratch. And as they were making the beat, so let's dance in love. Come on, vibe with us. Make it beautiful. So I heard that. I just heard da 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 da. So the words just seemed to come.
Yeah.
And I talked about an experience that I had, and I had to just get it out. And that's where the song came from. And that was the first song we recorded on the EP.
Yeah, because when I was listening to the EP, it seemed like you got that old school vibe.
Oh, yeah.
Vibe or whatever. But I also thought when you came in the door, I'm like, dang, is this Neo? I'm like, is Neo?
Everybody says that, but I take it as a compliment, So, they say you look like somebody in your life. So, why not look like somebody that's already
I'm looking like,
killing the game, of course.
Okay, we got Mr. Independent.
Right.
Okay, here we go,
Exactly. So
I see you also a senior administrator.
Yes, I am.
How did you get into that?
So I have my undergrad in health administration, and I kind of worked my way up through many different hospitals in Chicago, and then I came back here, and I'm actually an administrator at U of M. Actually, so I did the hard work career path, but this fire for the music just never stopped. And it's something that it blazes, and it pushes you. It's not even something that you really can really help. It's like, okay, if you don't get it out, you feel like you're gonna explode, is what it feels like. And that's how I got started back doing the music. So when I got back home, I got back here in Detroit September of 2019, actually. And then I started to record the album January, February of 2020. So it kind of just happened fast. I said a couple prayers to God. I'm like, okay, it's time. Should give me an opportunity, give me something. Then I stumbled across Grove Studios, and then from there I met a few people that introduced me to Sam and that group, which was absolutely amazing.
Sweet, yeah. We like Sam. Shout out to Sam Watson.
For sure. I see you got a song called "Hold Me Close."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What was you going through when you wrote that record?
Well, that record, that's actually the number one song on the album. That's the fan favorite.
Okay.
And it's two songs combined actually. So I was on a walk and I was still in my mode of creating the album. So after work, I would shut work down, and then I would just literally go and start writing music. And this particular day, I was on a lunch break, and I was just walking around my complex at the time. And I was listening to Tiana Taylor's, and I heard, "Wake up, love, it can't hold for me so." And I thought, okay, well, if you wake up, hold me close in the morning. Don't let me go till the nighttime comes.
Right.
And then before that came out, I was listening to Brandy had just released one of the songs on her latest album, and the song was "Rather Be." So I'd rather be kissing you, baby. So then when I heard that first, and then I heard the Tiana Taylor. So then with that one, I thought, okay, well, if I'd rather be kissing you, let me take you to the moon, make love in the stars. So they were two separate songs.
How you said "Make Love in the Stars"? What you thinking about a good old?
No,
I mean, what you thinking about? You know what I'm saying?
Just how love has the ability to take you places that perhaps you would never experience if you're healed and able to allow yourself to experience love in that way,
right?
Without being fearful that you might get hurt. And the biggest thing is just understanding how far love can take you. So
and that's a great thing. On a serious note, it's good to see people put their whole thought into music. You know what I'm saying? It ain't something you just brought out. You just something you really thought of, and you really put I could tell by listening to this EP, you really put. It took time.
It don't sound rehearsed.
It don't sound rehearsed. Yeah, right. I see you really.
Music. Yeah.
Now, who would you want to work with in the industry, and why?
Who would I want to work with?
Yes.
Oh man. Okay. I think right now, if I had the opportunity, I would love to work with. Let me think. It's so many people. I can't really even narrow it down to one. I cannot even narrow it down to one. But if I would have to.
That's crazy. What if you and Neo was in the same room? Like, damn.
You know what? That would be a good person to work with. He's an amazing songwriter, for one.
Yeah.
Like he writes a lot of stuff for a lot of people, and even a lot of things people don't know that he even made. But I really to be honest, I want to try something different. Like I wouldn't mind working with like Chris Brown or little Rick Ross up in there.
Or like you said, Tiana Taylor.
Yeah. Mike Will made it. Just it's so many people, and I can't really. I'm gonna let the universe guide me into who I'm supposed to be working with. Put it that way.
I can see you really working with. It's crazy because by your sound, I can see you really working with like a legendary artist like Stevie Wonder.
Absolutely.
Or something like that.
I would love that. That music from that era is like my all-time favorite. When I listen to one of my favorite people to listen to is Aretha Franklin.
They love
God
music.
rest her soul. Right. They loved music. And I felt that immediately when I moved from this place and I was somewhere else and I didn't have that, the way that we sing here is different than the way that other people sing. That's why it's a magical place that's why you have all this talent and all these vocal abilities here in this one place. It's strategically placed on this map for a reason, the way that it is. And it's a reason why talent is birthed in a place like this and people are uber talented here.
So what was K.E.N doing during the pandemic? What was you doing? Was you writing a lot of records?
I was actually writing and recording this album during the pandemic.
Right, because I see you're a songwriter too. Have you wrote songs for others?
Not yet, but I want to.
Working on
Ultimately, I wrote every song on this album.
Now, if you had a song on the radio or a song you heard in the past, is there any song on the radio or any song you heard in the past you'd be like, damn, I wish I would have wrote that song. I wish I would have wrote that song.
I would say that you would take me back to the Stevie Wonder days because he wrote some amazing songs. Like when I think about some of the classics and I think about his Ribbon in the Sky or My Cher Mi Amor or all of those. I wished I could have been a part of that magic when he was creating. He wrote a lot of songs for a lot of people. He wrote for Aretha. He wrote for a lot of people, and still does.
And you know, it's so crazy from a person like that never got a chance to see life, like like physically see.
You see it different.
See
it different.
For him to write music like that, that's genius. Like
Yeah.
that's just outstanding genius.
Yes.
Like he can, and not only that, he can play all instruments too, man. Like I remember when I first seen him at the airport. I first seen him. He was at a company called Boris Head I used to work at, and I walked up to him, and I said, "Hey, Mr. Wonder," because I call him Mr. Wonder, and he's like, "Hey, man, just call me Steve." Steve. I'm like, okay, well, Stevie, but you told me to call you Steve, so I get away with it. This is the time I can mess his name because he gave me grace. So he was so nice, man. He was so humble. And he was just saying, man, this he heard one of my managers fussing at me. I'm not gonna say his name. He heard one of my managers fussing. He was like, man, just keep your head up high, man, and chase your dream.
Yeah.
And that person made me chase my dream, which is talking to you and talking to different people that want to push their brand.
Absolutely.
But I wanna ask you this question: how do you feel in the time when you emotional and you're going through emotional wreck? Do you write songs better when you're emotional? Do you write songs when you feel like you're lonely? Do you write songs under pressure?
All of the above. I think when it's your ability and when it's your gift, it's therapeutic. Whether you're experiencing happy times, bad times, whether you're sad, whether you are just not feeling the best, or even when you just had an amazing moment in your life, when you are able to tap into that and write about it is therapeutic, and it gets it out of the soul. And my intent behind everything that I write and everything that I do is to make sure, first and foremost, that I'm honoring the gift that God gave me, and I am using it in an ability to uplift and help people, and not just there's nothing wrong with talking about your bad experiences, right? But if you really listen to music, especially now, it's all dark. It's always somebody getting cheated on, somebody this, they did this, that, which is fine. That's fine, because those things happen. But at the same time, we also have to be conscious of the energy that we put out into the world as artists. And we have to be conscious of the people that we impact, because whether or not you want to be a trailblazer, that's what you end up being. Whether or not you think that you are influencing people, that's what you end up doing. So you have to do it responsibly while still being truthful, and still being truthful not to yourself, but to the gift and the way that you're going to impact people.
What's your main motivation when it's time to get in that booth? What make you go hard and say, I gotta do this for this. I gotta do that. I gotta make sure it's done. I gotta get it done. What's your main motivation? My
main motivation is the fact that it's something in there that just won't let it die. It doesn't allow
Music
me.
got a hold of you.
It does. It once you tap into what you have and who you are, it doesn't allow you to half step it. And anything that I do and anything that I touch, it is my goal to do it all the way and to do it right. My grandma used to always say something, and she's the one that I come from a very musical family. Mom and dad sing, everybody sings, but she specifically taught me how to use my voice, and she would always say, if you're gonna do it right, or don't do it at all.
Right.
So that's something that plays, like, oh, if I'm in the studio, I gotta do this right, and I'm not gonna embarrass myself. Right. I'm not embarrassing myself. I'm not embarrassing, my family. I'm just more so like, I have to do this, and I'm gonna do it right when I do it.
Has your field of work helped your music as far as content? Does your medical field help musical content?
It does because as an administrator, especially in the hospital and healthcare field, you see so much and you experience so much, and you have to learn how to be very agile, and you have to be able to adjust, and things change. Like when the pandemic happened and everything was frozen, and for those of us that had to go through that, I had literally just moved back here a few months later. It was maybe 4 or 5 months, so I hadn't even been here that long. Mm-hmm. So I was at home by myself going through that process, and And literally I was working 10 to 12 hours, closing work down, and then jumping back into writing an album and just trying my best to just get it out. But the discipline is what helps you, and you have to be disciplined with whatever you do.
I think discipline and consistency.
Yeah.
Discipline and consistency. So that brings me to the song "You Have No Worries."
Yeah.
That brings me to that song. So that by you explaining that probably sums up the song "No Worries."
Yeah.
So but you don't want to worry about a lot. You want let God handle that. You know what I'm saying? His
It's
word.
about
Absolutely.
the energy that you put out,
Yeah.
Well,
You
exactly.
got that negative
Absolutely.
energy, it's going to come back.
It will come back. You have
Right.
to be careful with the way that you handle people. You have to be very conscious, even the people that don't handle you well.
Right.
You cannot have vengeance in your soul, because it'll only come back on you. The charismatic energy is real. You think you one up in somebody, but what you're doing, you just ricocheted and knock things down that were coming your way that were good. You just move things out of the
Right.
way that you had coming your way. So you have to be very conscious of those things.
Exactly. For the people that just tuning in, this is the Press for Conversation podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Layback Corey. This is my co-host, CG. And we got a special guest, a great singer-songwriter, my man, K.E.N.
Thank you.
So
I'm
what-
honored to be here. By the
Oh,
way.
yeah.
Thank you so much for having
Thank you,
me.
man. So, what's a typical day for K.E.N.?
Okay, a typical day for me would be getting up, going to work, obviously, and after all of that, I try to always, since I've started my music, I try to always write. So I'm writing all the time, for the most part, and then I'm pretty much I'm really quiet. Like when I'm by myself, I'm pretty quiet. I don't really say much. I'm usually, in a mode of just being focused and praying. And just trying to plan things out. I really, really want to create, even being back home. It's like I see all this opportunity to create things. And when I'm creating these things, whether it be business plans or whatever, I'm always in my mind like, okay, I just want to leave something that is going to positively leave an impact on people, for my children in the future, my nieces and family, even friends. I want people to see from the little small community that I come from that whatever you put your mind to, you can do it. So in my spare
Exactly.
time, that's what it is.
So, what's your goal as far as music? What do you want to leave? What kind of legacy do you want to leave when you're dealing with music?
I want to be the biggest person in music I could possibly be.
I hear it.
And not just to say that I am, but to just say that I got it out in this life. I got whatever is I've been gifted with, whatever God gave me, whatever I am to be, I got it out and I did it. And sometimes it takes your body and your mind time to catch up to what's before you, right? So whatever's before me, I want to be able to just grab onto it and be the biggest artist in the world while still maintaining my simplicity, my humility, and just being overall the best person I could possibly be for the people that I'm in contact with.
How many songs do you write a day?
A day, okay, so when I'm in the mode, when I'm creating the project, it's all the time. Like it's when I hear something, I'm hearing the sounds. When I'm not creating the project and I'm just in my free time, I allow it to just be a moment where if I hear something or if I hear a phrase or if I see something, it's more so ad hoc, where I'm just like, okay, let me just write this particular phrase down. But I got voice records galore, phrases and everything, and then I pull them together later. And some things that you write and they just come to you, you just have to keep writing. And then there's other things that you'll write a little bit and then you'll just leave them to the side. And then afterwards you can come back.
Right. So you said little by little. How do you handle? Do you ever witness anything like having like what is it called? Like writer's block. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think we all do. Yes, but you just have to, you cannot force anything when you have those moments. You have to just put it aside. And when that does happen, I just go and sit somewhere quiet and examine if this is the right thing I'm writing. If I'm supposed to write this, or should I take another direction? I've written songs and gotten frustrated and deleted everything I wrote and tried to do it again. And it naturally, that's a natural thing that happens to, I think, the best of artists. But I also believe that everything is your time. So if it's not, you ain't supposed to do the song, you ain't supposed to do the song. So if it's something else that you can do it.
That's great, man. I'm proud of you that you're still doing music or whatever. So what's next for Ken?
What's next for K.E.N. is I'm going to continue to push the project Love. Yeah. I got some couple of things I'm working on. I'm trying to really get this video together for Hold Me Close. And then after that, I'm going to hit them with 90s Vibe. And then after that, we're going to go with Fly Higher, which are the top 3 songs on the album.
Are you doing any videos?
Yes. So I'm in the process of getting it together now for the first one. And it was my ultimate goal was to do just a visual for the whole entire album, but I got to manage my expectations as a new artist and maybe hold that for something else. But start recording on something else, and I what I may do as my next strategy is just hit a couple of strong singles and then collect them in an album later.
Okay. Exactly. So, out of all the songs you ever written, which one is your favorite one and why?
Okay. It's so many on this album, but I would say Hold Me Close is my favorite because it was the one that I was like, I finally got the one. Like I thought 90s Vibe was the one.
Right. So what you mean Hold Me Close? What you finally got? A stimulus check? I mean, what you got?
Nah, it was more so I finally got that, I like to hear the music where I could tap my feet, where it's like, where I feel like I feel it, and it just came naturally. And then when I went in the studio with Sam, I just said, Sam, this is what I hear. He already goes with the beat. That's why it's so good working with him, because you just come in there, I'm like, I hear the hold me close in the morning, don't let me go to the. He's like, oh, I already hear it. Blah, 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 blah. And he gets to doing what he's doing, and then the beat happens. And so he's musically genius. And
yes, he is. Sam.
Very, very, very much so. Very much so.
We want to thank you for coming on the show as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, but for the people out there that's watching this podcast show, can you give us any more social media materials to get a hold to you, to Ken?
So you can follow me on IG at Ken_Symphony. The music is everywhere. It's on all digital platforms. So if you want to YouTube it, Spotify or Apple Music, whatever you want to find, wherever you want to find it, you can find it.
Sweet. Okay. Like I said, thank you for coming in. This is the Press for Conversation podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Laidback Corey. This is my co-host, CG. Yeah. And please don't be afraid to hit that like and comment, subscribe button, and follow us on. We also on all platforms. We on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We on Patreon as well. So don't be afraid to listen to us. This is the Personal Conversation Podcast. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for coming in, Ken.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
That's the end of the show, y'all. Peace.
All right, take care. See you guys later.